Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. Thank you. Now enjoy the show.
Hey, what's up, y'all? Thanks for tuning in to another episode of RAERAEs Review. And this is going to be Reasonable Doubt, Season 2, Episode 2. Y'all, we almost there. Season 2 is currently streaming on Hulu, if you didn't know. Whoo, child. Please like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already, and please share this with your folks. Don't forget to leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Are you watching the show? You watching it on Hulu? If you don't have Hulu, go ahead and get it. It's real cheap. I like Hulu better than cable and all that other stuff. But anyway, child, let's just get into this stuff. Again, Jack's telling Lewis about her day. They're in the bed and everything, and she wants Lewis to move back in. And he's thinking about it. They just, got over that hump. I think he may be feeling a little sorry for her because of that stuff with Damon in season 1. Child, wasn't that nothing? I'm going to miss Damon. Ooh, that man show is fine, ain't he? Anywho, so Corey Cash is the attorney Jack's called to help be Shannelle's attorney. She's too close to it, right? So he's this big figure in the law, so they go to Shannelle, and he's just trying to make a name for himself. He comes from a long family of attorneys. His dad is a real famous attorney known to a lot of folks in the business these days. Grandfather, great grandfather, you know how it goes. And he's a graduate of a HBCU. I think they said Howard, if I'm not mistaken. And so she introduces Corey to the firm. It's a boys' club. They love it. They recognize his last name. Oh, is such and such your father? He was like, yeah, that's my dad. I mean, do you know such and such? He was like, yeah, that's my dad. Then they go on and talk about golf and all the different things that they do, testing the waters with him to see just how accomplished he is. And he passed the test. He gave him a little speech about what he has in store, and they pretty much give him an applause, child. And Jax went along right with it because she know how to play the game. Yes, she does. Mm-hmm. So Jax will be second chair. Like I said, she's too close. And everybody's happy with Corey. Yeah, I know that's right. He ain't too bad either. We all know Morris Chestnut, child. So next we got Jackson Lewis having therapy, and life is getting better. Still no intimacy. That's one of their assignments. The therapist letting them know you got to do the work. And they're like, yeah, we'll get it in. We'll get it in. Hurry up, get it in. Shoot, I'm tired of waiting myself, trying to see some stuff. Next, we got Corey already having interviews on TV because Jax gets the call from her homegirl. Girl, turn on the news. Corey talking about Shannelle. So he's pretty much, not showboating, but just, making folks aware that DV is serious. And unfortunately, in this circumstance, death did occur, but you can't really blame her. She is technically the victim, but all due respect to to the dead, pretty much is vowing that she's going to stay in jail while she claims her innocence. And Shannelle Jack's looking like, what did he say? She gonna stay in jail? Oh, hell no. So then next we see Jax visiting Shannelle at the Fox Hills Correctional Facility. I'm laughing because ain't no Fox Hills Correctional Facility, child. So yeah, that's just funny just to see that Fox Hills Correctional Facility sign sitting outside. Anyway, so Shannelle would rather be home with her babies and not be in jail, but she's trying to go with the flow. She said, "Well, you the one told him he's my attorney. Now you trying to play him for short." So Chanel's a little perturbed, but yet still she still has faith that she'll be all right. Next, we see her homegirls trying to raise money for her bail. Um, it ain't looking too good. Then Adrian, the dude that was working with JT, comes by, lets them know that JT's jewelry was fake, and JT didn't know he was buying all this fake jewelry and all this, that, and the third. Some Nikes or some Air Jordans or whatever. Um, Pretty much, it ain't what it's hitting for. So, what's her name? Sally said, "I think I know where I can get the rest of the money because they need 100K more than what they already have after they put in, what they can put in." So Sally got a plan. She goes to her husband, who was also a friend of JT. And of course, Sally is the cousin to Shannelle, first cousins. But her husband said, "No, not we not putting up the house for this mess because it's not guaranteed." And he ain't, he said he loves her and everything. He wishes her well, but not my house. I know that's right. Next, we see Jax waiting on Lewis for a date. He's late coming to the restaurant. So they're trying to act real romantic, just like their homework says for them to do. So they getting all this, they have all this tension at the restaurant, and they talking to each other all nasty, like, eating food kind of nasty, like. And so they, make their way home, and the kids is getting babysat at the grandma house, and when the kids away, it's only cracking. So they all heavy petting and talking to each other all nasty, all in the bed and everything. And he want her to ride him, and she's like, "Okay, hold on, just let me get about just this little cat nap." He's like, "Yeah, yeah, me too. Let me get a little cat nap." Next thing you know, it's the morning. They they didn't fell asleep, drinking and carrying on, and all that extra this, that, and the third. Ain't even bust a grape. Probably didn't even go to the bathroom throughout all night, child. But that's how it be. Look, we grown. Folks watching this is grown. And sometimes it be that way. Other times it's on and popping. But last night wasn't the night. So Jax gets a knock at the door. Guess who it is? It's Corey. He came to Jack's house about the bail, trying to read her for filth and raises his voice. And then Lewis comes from the back, letting him know, "Hey, player," looked him dead in his eye and said, "Next time you raise your voice." No, 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 no. He told Jax that. What he told Corey was, "You want to lower your voice, homie?" And that made Corey leave the house. And then Lewis said, "Next time he raises his voice, I'm gonna show that N word what's really going on." I know that's right. I know that's right. Hmm. Lower your voice when talking to my woman. He said he better not catch him talking to you like that again. I know that's right. Next, they got Shannelle out on bail, and she's having fun with her kids and having fun with her girls, and they just trying to have a good old time, and it's all emotional, carrying on. And then they stage the house because at the house where JT passed away, child. And it was just so funny because if you didn't know, when you're saging the house, it's so different from the typical prayer folks do. But Jax brings up the amen and the thank you, Lord. But everybody looking at her like, what? I mean, it's all good, fine and dandy, but we don't do that during the session. It's usually more of a chant, you know, and I've done it, so I get it. Anywho, next we see Dan following up on Shannelle and JT's finances because, of course, they got to cover every base and everything. And he finds with the forensic accountant that there's some funny business worth $30 million. The money was moved by JT so far. So he trying to figure out what's going on. So he lets Corey know, and they're gonna do a little more digging. Next, we got Jackson Lewis at the therapy. They telling him they had a nice date, but no intimacy. And then that kind of starts a little argument based on them not doing the, not getting it on, child. And so the therapist was like, "Why are you arguing? What is all this?" First of all, arguing, Jack started it. I'm just going to put it out there. She blamed him for trying to blame her. And he's like, "No, I'm not." And she was like, "Well, fine. How about you? You know how whenever somebody say, 'Well, fine,' then you know what's next is going to be wrong. Because in their mind, it's just not the case. So pretty much it failed. They were given an assignment and it failed. So they're going to try it again, right? The assignment was given by the therapist, and so Jax finds out about Lewis had some recently because that evening they were talking some more, and pretty much she said, "Okay, I know you want to get your dick wet, but it's just right now, it just may not be working out the way we want it to." He said, "Well, it hasn't been that long for me." And she was like, "What that's supposed to mean?" He's like, "Figure it out." Oh, so now she know he has some while she was getting dicked down by Damon, child. Girl, how selfish can she be? So that night, he didn't leave. He stayed on the couch and she had a nightmare. And they argue in the AM too. And then she lets him know, "Listen, I'm not trying to argue with you. You picking a fight. But the thing is, we're going to have to work this out. Period, point blank." And he was like, "What you mean?" She was like, "You figure it out. So I'm not going to be a punching bag no more about how you feel about me." Ain't that nothing? See that tit for tat? You figure it out. You figure it out. Using folks' words on them. That never works. FYI. Oh, so now we got JT Fume, child. His mom tearing Shannelle a new asshole over there in the corner. Protesters yelling out "murderer" and all this, that, and the third. And it was just a mess, child. A stone cold mess. Shannelle was like, I should be here. I deserve to be here. And his mom was like, "I wish it was you in the casket." You know how it go. It was just a mess. People taking pictures and like I said, it was a mess. So at the same time, Corey is visiting the DA and he's asking why murder one. I mean, what's all this? What's all the hubbub, bud? So they're matching wit for wit. She's like, "Well, you're the one showboating and doing this, that, and the third." And he's like, "Well, how about you? You left your job to come over here. Are you running from something?" You kind of tell that he kind of knows something, but he's not really telling. Like her, she's letting him know she knows him very well. So, "I got your number, huzzy." Pretty much that's what it was between them. Both of them saying, "I got your number, huzzy. I got your number, huzzy." Just matching wit for wit. That was kind of cute, though. Next, we got Jax visiting Shannelle. It's real late after the service. And she's reading all the comments, just like, "Oh my goodness, what is all this? They're hateful stuff they're saying about me." And pretty much she doesn't feel protected by Jax being second chair. But Jax just reassures her things are the way they're supposed to be because she can't be first chair because she's her best friend. Jax leaves because her kids, I think her one of her daughters is over to Jax's house, and the other daughter is over at her cousin Shelly's house. And so Jax leaves, and then what was strange after Jax left, Shannelle got back on the phone, looking at those strange comments, and makes a phone call, child. It just sounds so contrived, like it's a plan going on. She pretty much calls someone and makes a play, talking about, okay, I'm ready. We're like, what she mean she ready? Next, we see Dan talking about he traced the 30 million and Shannelle has it privately with all this doodads and secret passwords, and it was done so that JT would know through a special shell core. And Corey is listening to like, oh my God. And they're at the office, strategizing paperwork everywhere. They're all binded up and color coded and carrying on. So everybody's looking like, dang. So it's Dan, the secretary, and Corey uh, fumbling over this $30 million. And then pretty much Corey's worrying because this doesn't look good. It really doesn't. So Dan goes back out to do some more digging to make sure things, to make sure that their case is airtight. But Corey's worrying, child. He's looking down, almost about to cry. Next, we see Jax tells Lewis she feels punished by him. They're at the house. And he just reassures her it's not that he's punishing her. And now her women intuition kicks in, like during this conversation. She want to know who he has sex with. And he was telling her, ain't nobody important. She was like, do I know her? He said no. We know he lying. And so, not that I've been in this situation, but we all know women start to feel, well, who was she? What she look like? What did she do? How did she do it? Was she better than me? All of that goes through a woman's head for the most part. Because they want to know same thing with a man. How did he hit it? Did he eat it right? Was he bigger than me? That's the thing. Was he bigger than me? I ain't no man gonna ask that, but those who are small ask themselves and wonder, is he bigger than me? I don't have them problems. I'm just saying. I'm just imagine the smaller men would ask. Anyway, back to the story. So she's getting all positioning herself to be on top of him and asking him, did she do this and did she do that? They, after they've been smoking a little bit, and they end up doing it. Child, they did it. She had a little motivation. She had a little motivation, child, just to let him know, well, how'd you fuck her? And he flipped her over like a pancake, and she started moaning and groaning and whooped it. Bam! They go into the AM. It's the next morning, child. They all tired in the bed. And now, first of all, we know it was on the popping because they in the bed, a whole new room, child. And now we figure out Shannelle can't be found, child. They're like, what? What you mean she can't be found? Where is she? Her phone is off, and Corey tells Jax about the 30 million on the phone. Here we go. I hope she ain't on the run, child. I think she is. But anywho, that was it for episode 2, season 2, Reasonable Doubt on Hulu. Well, child, grown folks, some grown folks TV. I love me a good grown folk TV, don't you? Hey, aunties and aunts, thanks for tuning in. And everybody else, you better be grown watching me because I don't do kids. Okay? Please like, comment, subscribe, and share. And we're going to catch you next time with episode 3. And don't forget all the other Real Housewives shows is on. And I'm got some commentary for them too. So come back to the channel anytime. Every day you're going to get something. Happy Vlogtober!